Alright, we're going to show you guys how to do some sweet LED bulbs in this 2017 Ford Super Duty. Alright, so the first step in taking this front end apart for this truck is you got to take all of these plastic little push pins out, and there's a lot of them. So we're going to go ahead and get started on that. You can use anything to pry them out. You can honestly use a screwdriver. You can use, you could probably use a butter knife if you really don't have anything else. They don't take a whole lot of effort to get out. The ones that are down in these recessed areas are a little bit more tricky, but even they aren't too bad. Now you can get this pry tool at like pretty much any parts store. I got this one at Napa. They're like $7, and they do make the job a little bit easier. So if you're watching this and you're not in the middle of the install yet, I would recommend it. Now on some models of these trucks, attached to the grille is like a sprayer of sorts, and this particular truck doesn't have that, so I can't really show you what to do there. But it's pretty self-explanatory, and all you really have to do is disconnect a little electrical connector and a water line to it. There's some up here too. They're everywhere. Just when you think you have all these, there's one more. All right. So now the plastic piece on top should pop off. Oh, there's one more. Front and center. Okay, there's that. We'll set this off to the side for now. Now we've got these 10mm bolts up front, and there are 8 of them. So you can just take your socket and ratchet, or you can use your impact driver, a drill. Alright, so now that these 8 bolts are off the top of this grille, and just to clarify, we're not removing these ones. We're going to leave that behind. Just these front 8 here. There are clips behind each of these front bars, 4 total, and the way to get those to release is just grab right under here, pull on it. Now, these bottom clips here oftentimes won't come out like that. It's really rare, actually. So what you'll have to do is when you release these side clips, you're gonna need to take a flat screwdriver, reach in there. So in this case, this grill came off just fine without it. It's really rare. I'm gonna be honest with you. Nine times out of 10, you're gonna need to take a screwdriver, press on this right here. You'll see it in there as you pull away with the grill. So we got lucky that time. That was nice. So to remove this headlight, you're gonna need a small 10mm socket on an extension. And for this top one, it's pretty easy. You don't need it for that. Makes getting in here a little bit easier. But there is a bolt on the bottom of the headlight that is pretty hard to reach with anything but a long extension. And that is right here. If you pull this rubber shield off, well, not off, just expose the bolt behind it, you can see right in here that there's a 10mm bolt, and it's really easy to drop in the bumper, and you don't want that to happen. You can get to it, but I'd rather not hunt it down if we can avoid it. So with all those removed, this headlight should come right out. There we have it. Now you just unplug your electrical connections. The connector with the gray tape on it goes up top. There you have it.
Now the reason that people do this upgrade to change out your front turn signal parking light to an LED are actually a few different reasons. Number one is when the light is off, you can see this orange globe glowing inside the headlight. And if you're going for a really special type of aesthetic look, a certain style, putting in a cool looking LED bulb with all the aluminum and design and a projector and seeing the LEDs actually makes your headlight look a lot better when the bulb is off. Secondly, they want brighter turn signals and parking lights for safety or style or whatever your reasoning is that you want your turn signals to be brighter. It's not that hard to figure out. The last thing is an LED bulb gives you this instant on, instant off modern effect. So you are used to seeing the turn signal bulbs kind of glowing on and glowing off. And with the new LED bulb, they're instant on and instant off. Now in this vehicle, we chose one specific type of bulb to do the upgrade with. It's the new GTR Lighting Carbide series LED bulbs. They've got this really sharp look to them, and they use these new Samsung LED chips, and these are super bright. These are brighter than the old 80-watt high-power tree bulbs that we used to sell. So we're really excited about this product line. They're brighter, they're more reliable, and the install is super simple. Step one is you replace the old bulb with the new one, and step two is you install your low equalizing resistors. Now there's two different color options. One is amber and amber, where your low power parking light is amber and your high power turn signal is amber. The other option is switchback or white amber, where your low power circuit for parking light is white and your high power blinker circuit is amber. Doing the switchback is pretty cool because it gives you a white daytime running light type effect when you just have your parking lights on. Check out the links in the description below the video because we have links directly to the website for these two products. You can either get the all amber or the white and amber switchback, and depending on which color you get, it also comes with the load equalizing resistors. The resistors mimic the properties of the original incandescent light bulb, and the vehicle knows when you have a light bulb out. It tells you you have a light bulb out when it does a hyper flash or it gives you a bulb out error on the dash. When we use the load equalizing resistor, it actually tricks the computer into thinking that the bulb still has a good filament. The LED bulbs don't have a filament, they're a circuit board. So let's go ahead and show you on the truck how to do the install. It's really as easy as taking out the old bulb, plugging in the new one, and wiring in one resistor per side.
Now that we have the headlight out of the vehicle, we can go ahead and replace our turn signal bulb. To do that, you just turn the socket counterclockwise, pull the old bulb out, take your new carbide series bulb, install that. It should fit right back in there. Turn it clockwise to lock it. That's all there is to that. Now we've got our side marker light, and that just pulls straight out. We'll grab our new GTR Lighting LED bulb. There you have it. Now let's go on the vehicle and test these out and install our resistors for our turn signals. So we're going to install our resistor for our turn signal in here, and I'm just going to mount it right here to this support beam. What you want to do is grab your turn signal wire harness right here with this plug on it, and you're going to want to strip the insulation back just right here, and you can do that by just nicking it with a razor blade. Peel it open, and you don't have to go too crazy with the razor blade. It's just enough to get through the little plastic loom on it. Once it's pulled back, you'll see 3 wires. The wires that we want are blue with green and black with yellow. Those are our turn signal wires, and we're going to connect our resistor to those wires. I like to mount the resistor first, that way I know how much slack I have to work with. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. With the resistor mounted, we can make our wire connections. So, with these wires exposed, we're going to strip a little bit back on each of them. Now, I've already tested these wires. I already know that these are what I'm working with, and if you've got a 2017 Lariat F350, these are probably your wire colors as well. However, it never hurts to test them yourself just to be sure. So all you have to do for that is turn your flashers on and get in here with a multimeter and see what's ground and what's flashing 12 volts. Get our resistor wiring stripped back too. Make those connections. It does not matter which wire from the resistor you connect to which wire on the turn signal circuit. Get that twisted around. You can use the supplied T-taps with the kit. That's just fine. We just prefer to solder things, and it's absolutely up to you. Go ahead and get that taped up. And by doing this, we get rid of our what's called hyper flash. When you switch to an LED bulb, more often than not, the vehicle thinks it is a light bulb that is burned out, and it'll flash rapidly and you might get a light on in the dash. So by doing this, we eliminate any of that. So you want to thoroughly tape up your connections in the vehicle. You don't want anything that you're doing here to cause a problem in the future. There we go. That's all there is to it. Now you can reinstall your headlight, and you shouldn't have a hyper flash or anything like that. All right, so at this time, all you have to do is take your headlight assembly back over to the truck, and remember, the gray harness goes to the top light, so keep that in mind when you're making these connections. This black harness goes to your turn signal in the center. It's kind of a large, awkward headlight to hold and make all these connections. And truthfully, you don't even need to take it off of the vehicle to do this. I did for the sake of the video, just so I could show you guys a little bit better what's going on. But if you're just doing headlight bulbs, you could really just kind of leave this thing on the bumper, maybe throw some tape down on the bumper, and do this all right here. Plug our side marker light in. Set this stuff back here. All right, so the trick to making this headlight go back in the way you want it is to get the bottom in first. Get this tab on the right in as far as you can, and then you can kind of swivel it into there. And that's it. Press it into place, reattach it with your bolts, and just do the reverse of what I just showed you to take this thing apart.